actually you had on photo, so I had to do it on.
Okay, get on video. we gave the first part of it. I'm a little bit better on that. Well, good to have you here, Marty. I never have been in this place. And boy, I got to looking around the pictures and everything here. And I know a lot about the history of this, but I'm just pretty amazed because it's right here in Harrison. And I was, I was thinking back, the things that's happened over the years. And one of the things that I recall, and there's certain days in your life you remember. And one of them was like, when JFK was assassinated and 9/11. And coincidentally, I was out in Phoenix when I got an email from my son about, the tragic accident there with Brandon. And boy, that just sticks with you, where you were and what the time was. And I got to looking back, at where we are today. And I was looking at the he was 22 years and 7 months, but he died April 28, 1999. But, since then, we've had, 24 years and 3 months from 99 to today. And just some amazing things have gone on there. And so I thought I'd let you kind of update us on, what happened and how this, how this foundation kind of got put together. So Matt, just give us a little information on that.
Yeah, and I hear that a lot, Herb. I remember right where I was. Of course we do, for sure.
Yeah.
Terrible day, and April 28, 1999. But a lot of folks, a lot of Razorback fans, contacted and over the years, it still sticks out. But Brandon worked so hard, come up as a walk-on.
Yeah.
Finished his career all conference, all American, first team All American.
Oh yeah.
63rd overall pick in the NFL draft.
Man.
That's not bad for a guy who started as a walk-on.
Yeah. It's just kind of blows me away, when you think about how he started here in Harrison, and then the steps when he got to the college. He wasn't really well received because he's a walk-on. I mean, that's just normal. That's not going to be unusual. But obviously in sports, it's all about building a team. So
that's right. Yeah, and he had a coaching change after his first year, position coach.
Yeah.
So I remember talking to him on the phone. He said, "Well, my coach is gone," and he kind of, sort of won him over.
Yeah.
So now what I did, and I said, "Well, you do it again," and then that ended up being Coach Mike Bender, who was the best thing for him. So Coach Bender came in, was just the perfect fit for Brandon, and so worked hard all those years, and then had a great college career, would have had a great pro career, and I feel like right now, I mean, just personally, he should be in the College Football Hall of Fame. He's been nominated several times. First team All-Americans criteria for that, and I felt like if he would have got to continue playing in the NFL,
the College Hall of Fame, it should still be there. I know later on that year, I was at a cable convention, and just coincidentally, I came across the Peyton Manning and his dad there, and Archie, and of course I mentioned I was from Harrison, and that was really it just kind of brought tears. Because he was just a year or so in there in Indianapolis, and boy, he was really looking forward to that opportunity because he knew, what the talent was there. And I thought, well, those things as you go along and what you see and what you get the feedback on, it's just really pretty amazing. So I thought, that's just things that I've noticed, and I know you've kind of gone through that thing, and I know you've kind of. Since then, I don't know how soon it was after that, but you started the foundation.
We actually incorporated his accident was in April of '99. We incorporated, and I think our papers were filed in June of '99. Of course, it took longer than that to get 501c3 status. Seemed like it took forever. And a lot of steps in qualifying for that. And the first year really didn't plan to do much of anything, didn't really, because you're still kind of recovering or trying to recover, trying to get your breath again. So but we started like the next year with the Burls Kids program, and so where kids were going to their very first Razorback game, and so that all began. Football camp started that year, and then for several years that was what we did. We had football camps, and both of those are programs that Brandon and I had talked about looking into. You know,
Yeah.
football camps. Now, when we say Burls kids are having kids at underprivileged kids, less fortunate children at games, we weren't thinking college football.
Okay.
We're thinking NFL because you see the banners, or you
Yeah.
always see the banners in the stands of the players' tickets that they give to kids. So he wanted to do that, and I said, yeah, I said, I'm sure that can be done. We'll look into that once you get in Indianapolis, get settled. I'll contact the team and we'll get that going. Well, after his accident, and then it coincided with the stadium expansion back in '99, 2000, when the end zone was being put in the stadium, and so while construction was going on, or actually it was at Brandon's would have been his first NFL game. They had a halftime ceremony, so Coach Burls was with us there.
Right.
And I talked to him about being able to get seats for these kids, and we worked it out right there and did all that, and I mean those are not free tickets. We paid for them.
Yeah.
I mean, but still, it's no one sat in those seats other than those kids. That concrete wasn't even poured.
Right.
When those were picked out, but we did that, and the first year actually I sat in the upper deck because the stadium was still being constructed.
Yeah.
So it was good times, and we did both those programs for a long time, and then we expanded into a lot of other things. We got a lot going now, so it's good, keeping his memory alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can start again, Christy.
Oh, okay.
I got to go in here, but I wanted you to kind of cut it off there, but just kind of.
Okay, you want me to start again?
Yeah, start there. Yeah, we had the opportunity this last year, or I did. Christy's gone over there several times. She really enjoys being around those the kids, and I went over to and again, I used to go to about every game in state.
Yeah.
And so I went over. I think Vicki and you helped her with some tickets, and we had parking, which is pretty close, but it wasn't handicap parking or anything. So I took, I walked with. I had a cane and walked up there, and we made it okay. And the funny sideline of that, it was I wore a vintage Arkansas Razorback coat, and when I got over there standing in line, it was this freshman and their family from Texas, and they got to talking to me and just kept talking to me, and I thought, well, what's the deal? And then later on, other people kept, and it was this Razorback coat, and it's been in my closet, and I'm surprised we didn't get rid of it, but. I was kind of kidding with Christy that I'd become a chick magnet because and we went out and all that time we actually sat up there close to the kids there, but it was kind of one of those days with the LSU game where there's a little bit of ice and stuff out there, but we went out to a restaurant later on and still got the attention. And it was all about the coat.
What kind of coat was this?
Well, I'll have to bring it.
It's a sports. It's like a leather coat. It's a Leatherman's coat.
Like a Letterman's coat.
Yeah, but it's that era, So yeah, it was funny, and something like it. You never think that because I haven't been going, but it's cold weather, and so that was.
It is a vintage Leatherman's coat. It's
Yeah.
actually almost like how you said Top Gun and his jacket.
Like a leather jacket?
No, it's not
It's
leather.
almost like leather, but it's not leather.
No,
It's
I got a picture of it, but it's something.
I remember when Brandon got his Letterman's. Of course, he never wore it. Now he'd wear the Harrison
But
stuff.
this one's like a Leatherman's jacket, but it's all different type of Leatherman's jacket because it's really wild. It's like
it's getting attention, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it did.
Working for her.
I really didn't expect it. I said, "What's going on here?" So when you're standing here,
and I had to even nudge him and say, "They're loving your jacket," and then I had to go home and say, "Mom, we can't ever get rid of this coat because this is a legacy of a lifetime."
Yeah, well, it's one of those things that you think might have got given to Goodwill or something, and I said, well, it might be more valuable than anything else I've got in this closet.
Right.
There's always those kind of stories, that come out of that, but I enjoyed sitting there and really seeing the kids. And it was a cold day, but everybody showed up. I don't know, they come from all over, and I know, that some of that's the first time they see a game, or
it is the first time they see a game. Yeah, what's a neat thing that's happened over the years is now they're hosted by a fraternity there, and so they're seeing not only a game, but prior to the game, they're seeing a college campus.
Yeah,
a lot of these kids.
Oh yeah.
college is like no way happening for me. Now they get to see this may be happening. You know, I can. And we've had kids, I know a Razorback cheerleader and a Razorback football player that were Burls kids.
Yeah.
That never hadn't been to a game until they were Burls kids, and now they attended university. Now, I don't know how many others, there might be a lot more.
Yeah.
But their first game was as a Burls kid, and it kind of opened their eyes to what the possibilities might be.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing, just the fact that, being there and seeing the game and the things that you got to do, and it's just pretty amazing. I know that there's some other things that the foundation has done, and some of it's scholarships, and I was kind of wanting you to talk a little bit about what you do on an annual basis with a scholarship, because that's a big thing too.
It's a big thing. It's a big thing. We give out roughly we gave out 30 something last year because we were playing a little catch up, and this is actually all administrated through the university. Foundation claims that we're involved in it, but we don't pick the scholarship recipients. Found out early on I don't want to. We were it was Jim Lindsay and Stanley Reed started a series of golf tournaments you're aware of that began this $2 million endowment, and that they talked to me about being on the committee. I said I think we'll be on the committee, and then they got back with well, the university said they don't want us on the committee. I said, okay, whatever. Then when you start getting a few phone calls here and there every year, putting in a good word for somebody, then you say, I'm not on the committee.
Yeah.
I don't have a say so in it.
Yeah.
So,
it's gotta get,
right. So then, so that's how good. But we give out 5,000 academic scholarships. These are not freshmen. These are graduate students.
Okay.
They've been in school for a while.
Right.
Paying their own way.
Right.
Grinding it out.
Wow.
And so, and some are older. Some have kids. Some are traditional college students. Most of them are, but they're right at that finish line.
Oh yeah.
And so when they get that scholarship, that just makes a world of difference, and it relieves a lot of stress for them. And so there's 18 of those, and then one walk-on football athlete scholarship for $10,000. And that we give out every year. So, but the last few years with the stock market adjustments, this and that, the university has scaled back on some of it. Then this last year they caught back up, and we had 30 something. So that was really cool.
That's the thing. I was talking about how long it's been since the accident, and the way I guess the foundation seems to be still very vibrant. I know you have a board, and the board is pretty diversified, I guess, and so that's kind of helped.
Yeah, it has. We've got men and ladies, and from all corners of the state.
Yeah.
We're here in Harrison. Yeah, we're more northern, but it's we're not based out of Fayetteville. It's not a Fayetteville thing. It's not necessarily a University of Arkansas thing. A lot of ties to that naturally. I was actually football practice this morning over there, but we have tried to spread out, make sure that we're covered from corner to corner of the state, men and women, and got some great board members that have ideas and are passionate about it, and we've had board members that have been with us from the very beginning. So it's a good group.
So what do you think of the football practice?
Looked pretty good.
Okay.
Looked pretty good. Coach Pittman said he thinks it's probably, as far as the team, probably the best he's had since he's been.
Well, it's nice to have a good backup quarterback too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. We got him. That's right. I got to look at him a little bit today. He looked good. Good. Yeah. And so it looks good. And KJ looked like KJ.
Yeah.
And so everybody looked good. Defensive line seems to be. Last year they looked a little thin. Yeah. Not now. So impressive.
Well, that was the thing about the LSU game last year, was they had to go to the backup quarterback, and it was just too big a drop off. They should have won the game. I mean, the defense outplayed them and everything, and it was just a matter of KJ wasn't available, so it was it's one of those things. I think that's the good sign now. Is at least we got backup seems to be in place, and that's going to be good. And I know that everybody's all excited, but as you said, I think he does realize it may be his best team he's had. So.
Yeah, he does. He's pretty happy about it, and you just hope with the new environment rules, NIL, that you're able to continue that, and it's to me it's a matter of the guys want to be a Razorback.
Yeah.
I mean, back forever. I mean, here if you be a Razorback, that's a big deal. I mean, it is a big deal. It's
Sure.
Now the recruiting's kind of changing. Still a huge deal here in our state. Think about the SEC. Every state, there's either 2 teams or there's a pro team, and then there's Arkansas.
Right.
And that's what makes it special.
Yeah, it is. It's very special. As I say, I've been to games all over the state. I mean, with Little Rock and Harrison and Fayetteville, and it's always been. It was always exciting. I mean, I always enjoyed that when it came out on the field. It was always something kicking is.
Yeah, people that aren't from the state, that they don't totally grasp that.
Right.
That you don't understand it till you're unless you're from here or you've been here a while, and then you realize the magnitude of what that Razorback means.
Yeah, 50, you can cut it up.
Okay.
We're going to go to the award, and we're going to talk about a little bit about the movie Greater, and then we'll wrap that up, and then we'll just talk about the happy place or something.
Okay.
So we may run that. Well, we'll just do this, and then I'll cut it off. We'll do a happy place thing because that's easier to cut.
Yes.
But we can edit it if you.
Yes.
Are you doing okay?
Yes, I'm doing okay.
Well, yeah.
You just waiting on your call.
Well, you can chip in, and give us some advice if you need to. We're not.
Okay, use that.
We like the cameraman to be involved. So. All right, let's get ready to go then.
I've got it ready. I'm already ready.
All right, let's go. All right. As far as the award, I know when you think about walk-ons, you've had some pretty big walk-ons that's turned out to be really good players.
Yeah, we really have. Well, you've got here recently, of course, last year winner Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
He only won back-to-back national championships, and then was a Heisman finalist.
Sure.
And he found out at our event that he had made the finals.
Really?
So we were right there with him when the news came in. So that was pretty cool. Of course, then you've got one that won it. Baker Mayfield. Heisman winner and first pick in the draft, and then one that I'm really proud of. I'm proud of all of them, but Hunter Renfrow, just a great guy.
Yeah.
And then from Clemson and won national championships and is just a big time NFL player. Big time NFL. And one of our finalists this last year, Aiden O'Connell from Purdue.
Right.
You'll start hearing that name.
Yeah.
People may not know that name right now, but he played the whole game Sunday in preseason for the Raiders. Looked really good, and I listened to their broadcast, and the broadcasters were really pleased with him. He's got the stature, and he just looks prototypical, and just a really, really good guy. And when he was drafted by the Raiders, tickled about that because I knew he and Hunter would be together, and they're just alike.
Yeah.
So I let Hunter know. So you got a good one coming to you. So
sure. Yeah, that's great.
It's it's been good. We've had really good winners. From very beginning. This is going into our 14th year. So.
Well, it's good to be getting national attention, and I don't know. It'll probably be at some point. I don't broadcast in one form or another because of all the interest.
Yeah, it's on the ESPN show now, like the College Award show. We don't give it out there. Yeah, I don't know if we want to give it out there if they want us to later, because I really like the show that we do over in Bentonville at Crystal Bridges and hosting the families, and you get closer with them, you get to know,
well, that's great.
And if you don't, have that contact, but it's been, they're just in for a couple of days, but we get them in and tour them and take them to Top Golf and just play around and rehearse and do our show. So and they love it. They love it. It's a good time.
Well, I thought we might talk a little bit about the movie Greater. I had to go back and look at that again. It's on Amazon Prime if the people have not watched it or maybe hadn't seen it for a while, and almost I thought, well, this is not the same movie I saw when it first came out. I don't know, you get the impression maybe you remember certain things just because that's the way familiarity is. You remember certain key points, but I got to looking back and there were a lot of things I didn't remember, and so I really enjoyed watching that again. I mean, just to get back and see some things there, and as far as the movie itself, I know it took a while to get that done.
It was like 11 years.
Yeah, I thought
11 years, yeah, when we first approached. Well, we were first approached by, and this was an independent film.
Yeah.
From the producer that was putting his own money behind it, didn't have any experience in it at all.
Yeah.
Said he was willing to learn and to work, and after we were approached by L.A. Hollywood folks about doing the film, but they just didn't want to have, or they were very truthful with us and said, you're not going to have any say so how this is done.
Yeah.
So we said, well, no thanks then. So this producer said, you'll have say so in it, and Brandon's faith and Christianity is going to be kept in that.
Yeah.
But still, it's not going to be just a faith movie. It's going to be a movie that'll appeal to everyone. And I think it did. I mean,
well, I think so. I mean, the longevity of it just like 2016 when it came out.
2016.
And here we are watching it. I mean, I flipped it up last night. It's just easy to get it there.
And it'll be at the. I have people send me a text message or something from wherever. So it's the top of the, it's the top of the whatever list right now.
Yeah.
So that says something about it. So.
It does. It has so many things that people want to, and particularly when you get around football season, it even makes another interest to see.
It does,
because of everybody's got an attachment to a walk-on or somebody that's a marginal player, and they see all this happening, and that was kind of the thing that kind of was pretty amazing. I know that you can't really teach speed sometimes. I mean, I know that Brandon had some weight issues and other things, but man, when he got to the pro or the whatever they call it, the tryouts or
combine.
I mean, he was
blew him away.
He was top. He blew. Yeah, he's top.
Blew him away. Yeah, we were in the.
Were you there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I actually got in it. I don't know how many agents contact us, and I interviewed him all because that's what we did. He said, "You talk to him, okay? I'll be on the football field." Yeah. So okay, I got NFL certified over a year's time, and was an NFL certified agent. So I was the legal licensed agent. So I was his representative. It turns out we decided to do that, but I was in the lobby of the hotel with him and picked him up from the combine in Indianapolis, and people are saying, "Hey, good job, congratulations." I didn't say nothing to him. We're walking out.
Yeah.
I knew he'd ran the 40.
Yeah.
Then we're walking across the brick patio out in Indy there downtown. I said, "What'd you run?" 4.88. I said, "Awesome." Well, I said, "We won't run again when we get back to Arkansas." 4.88. No wonder he just blew. I mean, that was a record for years.
Yeah, he said top to all linemen with that.
It just blew him away.
And he talked about what he benched, and just the whole thing there. I had, that was the thing, and it kind of caught me off guard a little bit after watching the movie, and you didn't get the idea how fast he was, and again, that's a little bit of the conditioning speed.
It is. He had probably more natural speed than most people would think, than I would think. Coach Tyson's even said that. But now, when he got at Arkansas, after he'd been there a little while, they could see he's fast. He's naturally fast. And I never thought he was. I mean, I coached him in baseball, and we'd go run together, but once he got that weight off, and started putting it back on and really, doing things right. He was trying to gain weight.
Yeah. I mean,
they said you got to get bigger. I was with him when they said that.
Yeah, and he got up there bigger, and he cut back down.
Yeah, and so when you're with a guy every day, or most of the time you don't see somebody getting fat. I didn't see it, but then we got on the scale. I'm like, well, where did that 50-something pounds come from? Which was basically what it was. I know it was more in the movie, but you got to do a little. Yeah.
Well, I knew there was a little bit of Hollywood in there.
Yeah.
But I knew
the overall story's there, but some things are exaggerated. But it was extreme regardless.
Yeah, extreme. No, you don't do what he did as a walk-on, and I know, when he says he's a junior, I mean he was kind of the center of attraction, of attention, and he was kind of calling the shots, and obviously he got a degree, and then he got his master's.
And still had a game to play.
Yeah,
got his master's, still had a game to play.
That's pretty. That itself pretty incredible, because it didn't come across right away about his being a student, but he obviously
he just back then, back in those days, you weren't at school all summer. You weren't training all summer. I mean, high schools do that. No, it was all voluntary.
Yeah.
And most of it was non-voluntary. So most, I guess you could say a lot didn't do that. But Brandon stayed every summer. Now he'd be home on the weekend. You count on that. but he would. So he's over there. He's not just lifting weights. He's in the classroom.
Yeah.
He's cranking that thing out, and I didn't really. I knew he was taking classes because he'd bring books home and things, and you know, especially when he's getting his master's, and so when he finished up in December, school's over, and you know, I said, well, that's. I acted like it's coincidence. So now you can just prepare for the combine, and he's like, yes. Okay. Well, I didn't understand at the time what you were doing, but yeah, that was the plan all along.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish up, and then you know, school's over, and it'll be time to get ready for the next level. So that's
yeah,
what I
well,
did.
yeah, he had athletics you play, and I was in basketballs, but I never was fast, and I never could get faster. You know, it's one of those things that it catches your attention when somebody is able to be the top guy there after you thought about it all the way through.
That's the way it always was with me. You know, I mean, you work your tail off. You only got so much ability. But I had seen, I've been with Brandon. Now we didn't go to special training facility. We trained over at the university. I said we did, but I'd go around and hang around with him and teammates when getting ready for the combine. And you're not going to pick up fast speed. You can pick up a little bit. Technique, you know, and if I'm running that 40 and different things like that on technique, and he studied that.
Yeah.
And so I knew kind of what he did because I was around when he's getting taught, you know, on how to come out low and not raise up. Just,
I knew there was a lot of technique, a lot of training.
You cut tenths a second, you know, off, and that's in a situation like that in the combine.
Yeah, no, that was so many things. He could have, you know, in any teaching or training or summer or whatever, you could have taught others that. I mean,
flexibility and all that, and he never was real big on getting really, you know, bench press is important, but he didn't want to get muscle bound too much. You know what I mean? Where he loses flexibility. Okay. So he balanced all that. You know, and some of his teammates on that offensive line, they would go maximum weight. He'd go heavy, but he didn't try to, you know, had the record for bench press.
Right. Ricky, you want to cut it off there? We're going to do a wrap up here. We're going to get out of here. We got 27 minutes. You know, it's funny how you start talking to people, and I found this with all the people.
Yeah, I bet.
It's funny that you kind of talk about some things, but I don't want it to be I don't want it to be an interview. I want people just kind of come to the heart and just kind of say things about, because it's amazing. You know, Sidney Meiker, he started talking, and he said, well, I asked him, has there been any question that you've never been asked, you know? And he said, oh, I've been asked everything. Then I came back with one about, well, I saw this thing about you. You know, you got the record for rebounds, and you're 6'4", and you know, all 4 years he was the top rebounder at Arkansas. And then he got into a spiel on that. It was pretty amazing because, you know, that was his record he's most proud of. And he hadn't really, I didn't know that, but he also kind of come, he came back on that, and then he said, well, you gotta have a nose for the ball. You gotta, you know, he really kind of got into the details of.
I mean, that's a skill set and a technique and a read mainly. He's reading that coming off.
Yeah, but that's what you kind of. That's what I kind of look for. And again, I'm not trying to be anything other than just kind of get some casual talk and people. And as I said, I want to get people that's connected to Harrison and kind of been in positions to understand the differences and be a positive message. You know,
sure.
That's the whole thing of what we're doing. And I'm hoping James Dickey's supposed to do something. He's up in West Virginia right now.
Where'd you get Sidney at?
Well, you know, he came over and did a golf tournament for me, but he and what's the name?
Bill.
No.
Or Bob.
No. What's it? Oh, man,
I know. I can't think.
That's one of those Parkinson's things, I think. All the guys here did Old Farm Road development and all that out there.
Nance. Graham.
Grisham.
Bud.
Yeah.
So Bud, you know, we play golf a little bit now. Okay. I was talking to him,
Bud,
and somebody in Kiwanis said, well, we ought to get, you know, with me, and we didn't ever pay anybody. We had a lot of good speakers come in. And so I said, well, I'll work on it with Bud, you know, because, and well, that was kind of, they had a big connection down in Dallas, and they joke about tennis because Bud got Sidney into tennis, and Sidney got to where, you know, he was really good at that because he got out of the basketball and everything. And the other thing that came out of our conversation is Sidney doesn't run. He just walks. You know, he goes out in places and walks. that was kind of it caught my attention.
Right.
I said, well, you've always
Yeah,
seen
see?
Sydney running up and down the floor
Sure.
and jumping and everything.
He
And
walks, so there you go.
Well, I know, but he's talking about eating the walking trail, just different things.
Yeah.
But there was some things that kind of come out of that I didn't expect, but that's kind of where I was going with it. I didn't want to get into. I said, you got all kinds of YouTube interviews, and we don't want to do that. So,
Right.
But no, I probably talk a little bit over here about some things, and then we'll talk about your happy place, and now everybody kind of comes back with just wherever I'm with my spouse, and then I kind of push them a little bit more, just do it to a location or something, and you can have it however you want to, but that's kind of neat because they've always had a place or something that it was really just kind of a special moment or time, and if you ever think about something like that, or if you don't, that's fine. But
Okay.
I thought that would be part of what we do here. So
Sure.
all right, you ready to go?
Yes, whenever.
We're about ready to wrap it up. You don't have to stand there much longer.
No, I'm fine.
Yes,
Right.
I'm ready. I'm done it.
All right. Well, I was thinking about Greater in the movie, and I know it's been a while since you finished that. Is there anything that maybe you would have done different, or is it pretty well? I know you had so much time in it when it came out, but how do you feel after you kind of had a few more years to reflect on things? Do you see anything there or think about anything?
Oh, yeah, sometimes. I mean, sometimes. One thing, I would have cut my cameo out. Probably been the first thing I would have done.
I will ask you, do you remember what your cameo was?
Yeah. It was me talking to me, basically, on the sideline.
Yeah, I thought it's pretty neat. I would never made a little recording of that.
Yeah.
I said, man, I was kind of surprised.
Right. Yeah,
they advising the guy.
That was kind of cute.
Yeah, it was.
Then you wait half a day to film it. You go to wardrobe and you get dressed and you got your name on the door and then they do the makeup on you and all this stuff.
I think people will go back now and watch that just to see that cameo.
Right.
Because that was that kind of. That was an Alfred Hitchcock. He used to be
that's right.
Or he appeared in one of his films or something.
There he is again. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
overall, I think it's all it's held up. Is there other things that we you nitpick everything? I do, so but overall, they did it, and I tell you, I gained a ton of respect for that industry. Just the amount of hours they work, and I mean, I'm out there with a lawn chair with headphones on, and they are working their tails off, and I'm getting tired watching them.
Oh,
It's just incredible.
Oh, I know.
It's incredible.
Today you're seeing all this stuff, and it's reality shows and things, and even this thing I'm kind of kicking around docuseries. It's kind of funny how you get a lot of people that want to help, and like you said, there's somebody out in California, and he told me all of the people that he was into, and the first thing I saw was, well, I'm gonna lose control of this right away. And there's some messages. I had people I wanted to interview at our boxing and just people local, and I want to put a little more slant on the positive aspects of the people here in Harrison as to what they have done to, things didn't happen just on their own. There's a lot of people here and a lot of friends. So that was one of the things I thought about too. I thought, well, that's kind of neat about, some of the things that it was heartfelt and as far as what you were doing. And I think that's the important part. And whatever, I mean, it's proven itself. It wouldn't be out there already. Again, I don't know how many times it's been viewed, but it's been viewed.
When COVID shut everything down, really shut everything down in March 2020, that just so happened was when it went to Netflix. It wasn't a planned thing. I think it was already scheduled.
Yeah.
So that hit Netflix, and you talk about blowing up now. I mean, because everyone's home.
Yeah.
And wow, our emails and we have a merchandise store, online store, and wow, you talk about a lot of orders coming in. It was unbelievable, and it'd been on Netflix for like 2 years, and now it's on other platforms. I think it's on Paramount, it's on Amazon, it's a lot of different ones. They kind of, but I think it's paid view now. I think, but and then there's still DVDs and things like that.
Yeah, I saw that. You go over there, and if you're not a Amazon Prime, you can go over there and you can get a copy of it or whatever.
Right.
So,
it's good to have that thing out there for years.
And I know you had for a period of time that Walmart had copies of it there. So
they got behind it. They got behind it really big on a national level.
Yeah, so, that's great.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah. Well, I thought we might wrap it up, and I thought one of the things that I've tried to, and I'm talking about this with people that particularly that have disabilities. We made this trip to Phoenix in the middle of the summer and hot, but I had a really great friend and out there that I traveled a lot with, and so I knew Bryce. I knew his dad more than I knew Bryce, and I kind of worked the deal of doing that and just different things. I thought, well, it'd be fun and get on the Waymo, the self-driving, car, and I found out what was good and bad about that, and what maybe Uber or Lyft might have an advantage. Just things that if Christy's not ever going to drive herself, then there are ways. She doesn't like taxis, but she thought that pretty neat when you had the driver there that, I've ran into a lot of, if I had a Razorback shirt on or something, they'd talk about Jerry Jones in Dallas or just any story.
Yeah, sure.
It was always something that they would be talking about that was going on. It was really pretty good, but we just had a great time, and I didn't get any blisters or anything. We just did things indoors and just had a good time just being with people and doing things. So, but I thought I know you've traveled some and a lot, I guess, and you've done a lot of things, and I know that a lot of things that are special about Harrison, but is there any other places that maybe you and Vicki or you've gone that you kind of reflect on at this time? I always want to ask, where your happy places?
We've been to some places here recently. I mean, I can't say it's a happy place, but we've been to Egypt.
Wow.
Through London, come back through Rome. So that was just over the last 3 or 4 months. So
that's great.
Egypt was kind of crazy. It was good. It was good, but it was not as high. It only got up to 105 over there.
Okay.
And it gets up to 130 something. They said in the summertime. So we timed that trip well. No, I mean, you talk about Harrison, and Harrison's such a great town. That's why people move here. That's why people want to retire here. It's a quiet town. It's close to everything, but you're still in a small town. And every time I get opportunity to talk about Harrison, I'm all there. There's a documentary coming out on the '98 team on the SEC network, and I've got to see a little bit of it, and I talk about Harrison on that, so that's good.
You mentioned that you got to do a little bit of pitch for real estate, because that's been another job you've been in.
Yeah, it is. And over the last few years, and once the foundation grew and grew and grew, wasn't not as able to. I still do real estate, and then always will. Not able to dedicate as much time to it as I did back when we just had Burls kids and football camps, and then when this stuff starts growing.
I thought.
Things like that, and then our EYES program. That's I think in 4 or 5 states now. EYES with Champion program for kids that can't afford eye care and glasses. It keeps us all busy, but we still do real estate and all, Vic and I, we like to travel, and we like to go to warm places. So get on a cruise ship or go. Now we'll find the bargains, or she will. But we'll go, or to stay maybe St. Croix or something. But my family on my mother's side is from Searcy County. And so Buffalo River's a big deal.
Right.
There's a little place way down that no one's supposed to know about, although there's more people down there than should be. But quiet, cool place on the river, and that we will go. We've taken the grandkids. We only have 2, but we've taken them down there, and all our kids know that place. Actually, when our boys were dating, the girlfriends had to be blindfolded, so they wouldn't know how to get there. So we blindfolded them, kind of a joke, so you can't bring anybody else down here. Just a nice, quiet place on there. And I remember years ago standing on the bank fishing. Someone with a canoe comes by. Wow, that's a nice place. And how you get there? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. So but that goes back to my grandfather, and that's where he would take us. And you got to know where you're going, or you won't find it.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good, happy place.
Well, that's great. I know that this has been a thing that you've really built with this foundation. You had a lot of help, but as we look forward, I guess we can close with the idea of, you've got some things going now, and I don't know whether it's family or whether in your foundation, but what do you see of that in the future? I know that I think I maybe I heard it. You're 17 years older than Brandon. That was quite a bit of difference.
Yeah, well, it's more like 16. The movie said 17 because we have to, I guess. We have to exaggerate more. So I was 15 when he was born. A couple of months I turned 16.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm 16 years older. And yeah, so, you know, and our dad wasn't around a whole lot. I mean, he was, but he wasn't. And Dad had problems. Good guy, really good guy. Doesn't get the credit he deserves, but just wasn't real fatherly. I guess you said he wasn't raised that way himself. So I wasn't, Brandon and I never looked at it like I was a father figure, you know. Maybe it was. We didn't see it that way. It's just brothers, and I'd coach him in baseball. He'd come out, we'd throw the ball. Just, you know, just being normal.
Yeah.
That's all. And so, but, you know, we're looking forward to what the foundation has going in the future. I know one thing, we're going to keep driving it hard.
Yeah.
We're going to keep trying to make a difference. We're
Well,
going
I
to
see
keep
you
preaching
do that.
Brandon's message. And
That's really the thing, and I think, you know, we've seen recently that, you know, we've had some tragedies in the
yes.
Razorback, and just Alex Collins just the last day or two on a motorcycle, and of course Ryan Mallett just within 3 months ago, and just things that are happening all the time with the accidents. So we know, you know, they're pretty unpredictable, but I think that's the nice thing about the foundation. It's really on solid ground, and whether it's you and your family or part of the foundation, it just appears to be something that's going to be perpetual just by the nature.
That's our plan. That's the way we've got it set up. That's the way we think it's going to happen. And one day when I'm gone, I mean, I may have a family member running it, but that's not, you know, that doesn't have to be that way. We want good people with, you know, with passion for what we're doing. It may be one of my kids, you know, it may be they come in this role, but if they're not the best pick, the board knows that. If that's not the best choice,
well,
no, you know, let's get the right people.
Just gotta, it's just gotta have somebody that's got, you know, the emotional attachment.
That's right. There will always be a Burlsworth on the board. That's our bylaw, so that has to happen. So we know that's always going to be there.
Yeah.
And if we have them in leadership roles, whether that be my role or Vic's or whoever else, that's great too. But I never want our board to feel like they had to, you know, so I think we're set up good for the future, and we have a succession plan. So we're looking forward to it. I told Vicki several times, said we got about 18, 20 more years to keep driving this thing hard. So that's my plan. We're going to keep pushing, driving hard for a long time, and before we willingly turn it over to anyone else. So we're looking forward to that.
It's always been good to know you and the family, and I appreciate you, helping me with this. And I know Christy's, she's kind of been involved, and so we're, just really appreciative to get the information we got today. And so I'm going to close it at that, unless you've got anything else.
No, I think we covered it good. That's great. Very good. Good job, guys.
All right, thank you. Oh, well.
Good job.